Okay, so the prelims proper. Again, we have four fights, right? Four fights. And yeah, we got some big names. Big names, right? No names doing their thing on the prelims. It all starts off with the lightweights. We have Jim Miller against Jared Golden. Whoa. Okay, so Jared Flash Golden, right? He is 37, 5'9", 68-inch reach. He's got an overall pro record of 21-8 and 1 no contest. Okay, fights out of Killcliff as well, right? His UFC record is 9-7 with 1 no contest, and he's coming in off of a loss. Okay, so we last saw him in September last year, right? He got stopped in the third round by Rafa Garcia. Before that, right, he'd had a good win, first round stoppage of Thiago Moyes. That was the 17th of May last year, right? And that was coming off of a split decision loss to Nasrat Haqparast. You know, so he had kind of, yeah, it has been kind of a thing with his career. Like, maybe a win-loss situation. It hasn't always had the best of luck, right? When it comes to decisions and all of that. Now, Jared, he made his debut, right? Made his debut in June, 25th of June, 2017, right? He took a fight against Michael Quineres. He won it second round. He did miss weight. He then fought in October that same year, got a unanimous decision over Hakram Diaz. Lost a couple, Diego Ferreira and Joaquim Silva. Came back with a win over Dan Moet. Lost to Charles Du Bronx Oliveira. Right? Then beat Chris Fishgold, Danny Chavez, Busalaki, lost to Grant Dawson, beat Lorando Santos, lost to Paddy, right? Then there was the no contest with King Green. Beat Mark Madsen, which I think is probably his biggest win of his career, right? And then it's the Haqparast fight, right? So it's just been a little up and down. Hasn't really been able to get a lot of, consistency in place for the most part, But one thing we know about Jared is he is tough. Very tough. And as I said, there's been a good few decisions that haven't really gone his way, Now, he's stepping in there with a true vet, right? Jim Miller, A10, right? A10 Jim Miller. He's 42, 5'8", 71-inch reach. And that's the crazy thing, right? He's a vet. He's still just 42. Right? And when you look at his record, you're just like, yo, right? Because he's 38, 19, 1 no contest, which is crazy, And he's looking to get 40 wins, right? He wants to get that 40. That's his, there's not a lot of people that are going to top 38 wins as is. So if he does hit 40, then that's, you know what I mean? Now, Jim, right? He is in the UFC 27-18, won no contest. He is coming in off of a loss last time out, right? Which was the fight with Chase Cooper, right? Chase just tooled him up really with his jab on the outside, kicks, all of those things. I think that was a fight where I was just like, Jim looks a little slow, right? And the thing with being 42, you are good until you're not, right? Shit just can catch you all of a sudden. Like we've seen it with so many fighters, they are looking phenomenal. And then suddenly in their next fight, it just seems they're a step behind, right? We saw it with, everyone, right? Glover, with Cormier. And don't get me wrong, even in their last fights, they were close to wins. You know what I'm saying? But just a step behind, And it's not even how you are on the night, right? It's getting to that point, right? It's the training camp. It's waking up every day. It's recovering from little niggles, right? It just catches up to you. And that's the thing with Jim, man. Like, as I said, in that last fight with Chase, he just seemed a little bit slow. So it's just, how will he be Saturday night? Now, that fight was 12th of April last year. So it's been over a year, right? So over a year to kind of recover from any illness, to just take it easy and slow. You know what I'm saying? Now, before that, he did choke out Damon Jackson, which is a phenomenal win. Caught him with a gilly in the first, right? And that's after UFC 300, that fight with King Green. Green just, he was so on point that night, right? So on point that night. But, he's had some really good wins, right? He beat Gabriel Benitez. Before that, he's got wins over Donald Cerrone, Nicholas Mota, Eric Gonzalez, Roosevelt Roberts, Clay Guida, Jason Gonzalez, right? Thiago Álvarez, Joe Lozon, Takamori Gomi, right? Danny Castillo, WEC vet right there. Yancy Medeiros. Man, right? He's fought some tough people. And just the ones that he wasn't able to beat, right? He's got a win over Dwayne. You know what I mean? That was the 2nd of June 2010, right? Armbar in the first round. Whew. Crazy. A win over Mac Danzig, former Ultimate Fighter winner. Mac was very good, right? Matt Wyman back in the day, right? In December 2008, right? That was before Wyman's chin completely left him. You know what I mean? So Miller has got some great wins. Came to the UFC, man, 18th of October 2008, right? Beat David Barron, 3rd round, rear naked, got himself a bonus. You know what I mean? Got himself a bonus for that one. And it's not been his last, right? He's picked up a lot. Got a bonus in the second fight. That was the Wyman fight. Right? Now, even the people he's lost to, right? Gray Maynard. You know, very tough. Benson Henderson, Nate Diaz, right? Donald Cerrone, Benel Dariush, Michael Chiesa, Diego Sanchez, right? Dustin Poirier, Anthony Pettis, Francisco Trinaldo, Dan Hooker, Charles Oliveira, you know what I mean? Scott Holtzman, Vince Pichel, Joe Salaki, right? Miller has fought everyone. You know what I mean? So, look, with Jim, you know he's gonna give it his all. Right? That's always the thing. There's no doubt about that. He is going to give it everything. As I said, the one thing with Jim is will he beat time? You know what I mean? Will Jim beat time? And I think, right, Jared he's gonna come at you, right? He's definitely gonna do that, and you know, it's just gonna be whether Jim can handle that. Now, Jared could get overconfident. That's the word. I'm like, what's the word? Jared could get overconfident, right? And you know, like if he tries to get a lazy takedown, leaves his head in the wrong spot, he could easily get choked out. But it might be Jared's pressure that is a bit too much. So I'm going to go with Jared, but you cannot count Jim A10 Miller out. Okay, so sticking with the lightweight, we are Grant Dawson against Mateusz Rębecki. Right? And again, both of these dudes coming off losses. Right? So we got good fighters needing to show and prove. You know what I mean? That's definitely a component of this one. Right? Now, Mateusz Rębecki is 33, 5'7", 66-inch reach. He's 20-4. Right? Fights out of Poland. Right? Berserk. Whew. You know, in the UFC, he's 4-3. He came via the Contender Series. Right? So, yes, he got that contract on the 30th of August, 2022. He stopped Rodolfo Lido in the first with a rear naked. So there is that. Okay, so then he made his debut, right, on January the 14th, 2023. Got a decision over Nick Flora. He then stopped Lukik Rajahevov in the second round. Stopped Roosevelt Roberts with an armbar in the first, right? So great start. Stopped him in the third round, but came back with a win over Mitzabek or Urabai. I got a split over him. That was a fight of the night, you know. But then, you know, he ran into Chris Duncan and Ludovic Klein, right? Both decisions, but both fight of the night. So, you know what I mean? The tough fights, right? He's in it. It's fight of the nights, you know? Now, he's fought a lot outside the UFC for Fen, right? I think it's a Polish promotion, right? He won their belt, right? Defended it 6 times. You know what I mean? Defended it 6 times. I mean, it's not shabby, right? Not shabby at all. So yeah, you know, he's He's had regional titles. Look, he's got it's funny, like he started his career with three heel hooks, right? But his last amateur fight was a heel hook too. So technically 4 heel hooks back to back, a little bit like Walter Walker, you know? Now, not the same, right? It's not against the same level of competition, but you know, he does mix in submissions, right? He likes an armbar. And he likes to punch people in the face, sometimes elbow them as well, right? So, yeah, out of all the submissions, I think armbar is the one he goes to the most. But on Saturday night, he's going up against GD Dawson. I'm not quite sure what that stands for. I'm thinking maybe Killer Grant Dawson. I don't know. Maybe. Right? But anyway, Grant, he's 32, 5'10", 72-inch reach. Right? He's American top team right now. He's 11-2 and 1 draw in the UFC. Came via the Contender Series. So he got that contract all the way back. 15th of August, 2017. Right? Choked out Adrian Diaz in the second round, rear naked. Then he made the UFC debut. It's a little gap, right? It wasn't until the 9th of March 2019 that he actually got into the UFC. And he got a decision over Julian Erosa. He then chokes out Michael Trezano in the second. Right? For performance of the night for that one. Beat Derek Minner. Another second round sub. Right? Beat Nad Narami. Leonardo Santos. Right? Then it's a draw against Ricky Glenn. Stops Jared Gordon, choked him out. Boom, choked out Mark Madsen. Very good win, right? Mark's an Olympic wrestler, right? And then got a win over Damir Ismagulov. Got stopped by, King Green. That was his first loss. Then got, bounced back with wins over Joe Salaki, Rafa Garcia, Diego Ferreira, right? But last time out, Manuel Torres, blazing Manuel Torres, stopped him in the first. So, yes. But, you know what I mean? Like, Dawson is, he's a beast, right? He will try and take you down. He will try and take you down. Now, Rębecki, he won't mind that, right? He's got jiu-jitsu. But jiu-jitsu, right? From the top, but it's like, are you the same from bottom? That's always the thing, right? We've seen people getting submissions galore. But once they're on the bottom, it's a different thing, And I think Grant, man, like, look, he's got the wrestling background, he's got jiu-jitsu, he's got some stoppages with his hands. It's an intriguing chess match. I think I'm going with Grant though, right? I think Rębecki knows he needs a win. He doesn't want to go free, deep. So he's definitely going to be bringing it. But yeah, I'm going to take Grant Dawson for the win. So then we go to the welterweights. We have Joel Álvarez against Yaroslav Amosov. All right. So, yes, this one is a good fight. This is a good fight, right? Yaroslav Amosov. He is 32, 5'11", 75-inch reach. Overall record of 29-1. Right? 29-1. Impressive. You know? He's 1-0 in the UFC. Right? He was 8-1 in Bellator. Former Bellator champion. You know? And yeah. So he lost his belt to Jason his last Bellator fight, right? November 2023. But then with just all the trouble, just couldn't get any fights, right? The Bellator, they got belt, but yeah, just couldn't get fights. Asked for the release. So he then went and beat Curtis Millender in the FFC. Hit an anaconda in the first, which then got him to the UFC, where he hit that same anaconda in the first round against Neil Magny, which is just like, yo, right? That was the 13th of December last year. So that's a good win, right? Woo! Stopping Neil Magny like that, you know? And in Bellator, right? Obviously, there's a, you know, not everyone knows the fighters, but I think if you know, right? He's got a couple of wins over Storley. He beat Diego Lima, right, for the belt. Beat Mark Lamina, Ed Ruth, David Rickles, Eric Silva, Gerard Harris, right? Nathan Oliveira. That was a regional title defense. Tech Crep FC, right? I have no clue. I think it's a Russian promotion. Yeah, you know, he's got wins, he's got skills. He loves an anaconda, right? He's got some arm bars. You know, he's got rear naked, but he loves an anaconda. You know what I mean? He really does. But yeah, he has stopped people with the hands, but he's a problem on the floor. Now, Saturday, go up against El Feromono, Joel Álvarez. Right, Joel is 33, 6'3", 77-inch reach. 23-3. Whew. Right, this is a tasty fight, man. In the UFC, he's 8-2. He's on a 4-fight win streak. Right, so both are a problem, which is great. Oh man, when you get fights like, man, how the fuck is this going? So we last saw him 11th of October last year. He got a decision over Vicente Luque. He stopped Drakkar Klose and Elvis Brenner. He also choked out Mark DeCasey. Right? Tarzukian, right? Stopped him in the second. But yeah, that's been the only blemish for a minute. Right? To the UFC in 23rd of February 2019. Right? He lost a decision to Damir Ismagulov. But he then turned that around, right? On the 1st of June, same year, he beat Danilo Bellarado, stopped him in the second, then choked out Joe Duffy, beat Alexander Yakolev with an armbar. He did again with a stoppage over Thiago Moyes fight. But then, you know what I mean? Boom, he's been on that 4-fight tear. So, yeah, this is... I mean, it's so fucking difficult, this one. You know what I mean? Both are legit. You know, I think whoever wins, it's going to definitely add a lot of credence to what they do next. You know what I mean? I think they can call out a big name with a win. I definitely do think that, especially Amosov, because, you know, former Bellator champion, you know what I mean? I do think the winner can really, you know, if they use the opportunity correctly, right? It's always the big one. If they can use that microphone, they could get something from that. But who the fuck's gonna win? Right? That's the question. Oh boy. I mean, it's tough. It's tough, man. Like, oh man, they're both good. You know, that I think that's the big one here. They're both everywhere. So it makes it tricky. Oh boy. Man, yeah. Fuck. I'm not sure. Right? They're both good on the ground. I think Álvarez has got submissions too. He doesn't want to fuck around, right? Does not want to fuck around on the ground with Amosov. So I think, right, because, you know, I think if Amosov, he's got good hands too, right? So if he catches Álvarez may shoot, right? If he gets a little bit hurt, he might shoot. And then that could be a problem. Boy. I mean, this might be one of the hardest fights to choose on the card, right? Okay, people, I'm going to go with Yaroslav Amosov for the win. But as I said, this is difficult. I am, you know, flip-flopping like a motherfucker. Yeah, it's a tough fight, right? It's a 50, it's a pick'em. So yeah, I'm taking Amosov. Now we end the prelims with a great clash, right? We got the middleweights, Ateba Gautier against Osman Diaz. Woo! Okay. Right? Nice fight, man. So Diaz, right? He's 35, 6'4", 79-inch reach. He's 10-3 overall. Fights out of King's MMA. Okay. He is 1-1 in the UFC. Okay. He's coming in off of a win. And you know what that means, right? So he did fight in a contender. He did lose. Right? That was 26th of July, 2022. Lost to Joe Pfeiffer in the second. But it's Joe Pfeiffer, right? You've seen what he's done. Didn't dent him, right? Went back himself a couple of wins. A first and a second round stoppage, which got him to the UFC. Made his debut on 23rd of November 2020. Dropped in the first, though, by Zhang Mingyang. But last time out, right, the 8th of March last year, got a decision over Chimaev Santos. Okay, so, yeah. But, yeah, it's been over a year since we've seen him. I don't know if it was an injury, like what happened. But, yeah, it's been a minute, right? Now, he's, was former, right, champion in the LFA. Right? He, I think he won the interim. And then, oh, no, so he's won he won. Belt, and then he also won the LXF belt, right? So he's won regional belts. Okay, so he's got knockouts. There's been a couple of rear nakeds, some subs in his amateur career, but amateurs, right? But yes, yeah, I think it's clear that he prefers his hands, right? Definitely prefers the hands. He's fought a couple of times in Bellator too. So he has got good experience in good promotions outside the UFC. Okay. Now, he is stepping in with the storm. Right? Ateba Gautier, 24, 6'4", 81-inch. Wait, 81-inch reach, people. Jeez. Right? Built like a motherfucking machine. Ooh, boy. Right? He is 10-1. He's on a 9-fight win streak. Man, he's 4-0 in the UFC. Came via the Contender Series. So that was 17th of September 2024. He knocks out Yaroslav in the second. So 29th of March 2000, like last year, he gets to the UFC, makes his debut. It was a knee that put Jose Medina away in the first. He got a bonus. Knocks out Robert Valentin in the first, another bonus, right? He then does the same to Tristan Vines, no bonus that time, right? And last time out, right, he beats Andre Pulev, unanimous decision. That may have been the most needed fight of his career. You know what I mean? Because firstly, it went the distance, right? He wasn't just steamrolling people quick, right? Came to do his thing, but Pulev survived, and Gautier gassed. Man, he gassed. But why it was important? Because he found a way to win. And that's always the question. When people are knocking everyone out left, right, and center, it's exciting, right? God, this is fire. But the question always happens when the opposition gets better. What's going to happen when they get dragged into deep waters? So the fact that Gautier was able to grit it out, right? Grit it out and still win. Man, that's, perfect, right? That is perfect. So, listen, the last fight wasn't his best, and it's hard, right? Hard to really go against such a fucking menace, right? He's built like a machine. So yeah, I'm saying Ateba Gautier goes to 10. You know what I mean? On his fight streak, pulls off another win, and that, people, takes us to our main card.